Welcome to the Alcohol Reset, the podcast that helps you reset your habits, health, and relationship with alcohol without judgment or extremes. If you're looking to cut back, take a break, or just understand how drinking can affect your body and mind, you're in the right place. Each episode brings you science-backed insights on neuroscience, nutrition, and habit change to help you feel better, sleep deeper, and take control on your terms. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, best-selling author, neuroscience enthusiast, and habit change expert. I've helped thousands through my book and podcast to rethink their drinking, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Let's get started. Hey, welcome. Mike Hardenbrook here. You ever find yourself wanted to maybe drink a bit less, but without feeling like you're totally missing out on social stuff? You know, we all know that feeling, right? Trying to avoid those groggy mornings, maybe that bit of Sunday scaries anxiety. For the thought of just stopping completely, it can feel like a bit much like you're just going to be the odd one out, sitting on the sideline. Well, okay, let's get into something interesting today. It's a concept called zebra striping. And yeah, just picture, black and white stripes on a zebra. That's kind of the core idea. It's really just about mixing your alcoholic drinks with non-alcoholic choices. Pretty simple, actually, but you're basically creating this rhythm, sort of an on and off pattern with your drinking it. Now, there are two main ways folks tend to approach this. First up is what you call the drink swap, because this is where maybe you're out at an event, a party, whatever, you just alternate what you're drinking right then and there. So maybe you have a beer, right? Then your next drink is, say, sparkling water with lime, then perhaps a glass of wine, followed by maybe a diet soda or a fancy now called cocktail. You're just going back and forth. Then there's the other method, day swap. This one's more about the bigger picture across your week. You basically designate certain days as drinking days and others as completely alcohol-free days. The really key thing to get here is that this isn't about like super rigid rules you have to follow perfectly. It's much more about being intentional, more aware of your choices and finding a rhythm that genuinely fits your life. And honestly, it seems to be catching on, especially with Millennials and Gen Z. And why is that? Well, a big part is it lets you stay social. You can still participate without feeling like you need some big explanation every time someone offers you another drink. Plus, it gives your body some recovery time, which is, always a good thing. And yeah, it definitely helps lessen those hangovers and that awful anxiety without demanding this huge, life overhaul. What's really interesting, though, is the logic behind why this approach actually works quite well. For starters, it just naturally slows down how much alcohol you're actually consuming per hour. Think about it. Your body can only process so much booze at a time, right? So when you deliberately slot in those non-alcoholic drinks, you're essentially giving your system more time to catch up. That means you're less likely to feel overwhelmed, and you'll probably feel way better later on and the next day too. There was actually this study, I think it was 2023, that found people who actively alternated drinks in social settings. They cut their overall alcohol intake by a pretty decent chunk, like 25 to 30%. That's significant. And crucially, they still felt engaged, still part of the social scene. They didn't feel like they were missing out. But it's not just about slowing down the intake, though that's a big piece. Zebra striping also gives your brain and your body these, essential breaks. See, even if you're not what someone might call a heavy drinker, regular alcohol can still mess with things. It can disrupt your sleep patterns, affect your mood, definitely impact your energy levels. So by consciously having those alcohol-free days, or even just swapping out every other drink during one evening, you're giving your brain a chance to kind of reset itself. And your liver gets a bit of a break too, which it probably appreciates. People who start building in these alcohol-free periods often report, sleeping much better. They notice more energy the next day, and they feel less of that low-level anxiety that sometimes creeps in after drinking. And let's be honest, one of the hardest things about trying to cut back can be navigating the social side, right? You might feel awkward, or maybe you just think people expect you to drink, or you feel like you need to explain yourself if you're not. Zebra striping kind of smoothed that out. You can still easily have a drink in your hand, blend in, be part of the atmosphere, but you're doing it more consciously on your own terms. And because the approach isn't about saying, I never drink, it doesn't quite trigger that feeling of like total deprivation or missing out. You're just being smarter about it, mixing things up. And chances are, yeah, you'll feel a lot better for it. Okay, so maybe this sounds interesting. As you get, all right, how do I actually start trying this? A great first step, honestly, just pick one small thing, one little adjustment for the next time you're in a situation where you might normally drink. For example, just decide beforehand, okay, for every alcoholic drink I have tonight, I'm going to have a non-alcoholic one right after. Could be water, could be soda, maybe a mocktail if the place has good ones, whatever works for you. It also really helps to maybe stock your own fridge with some decent non-alcoholic options that you actually like. We're not talking about boring stuff here. There's great sparkling tea out there now, some really impressive zero-proof spirits for making cocktails. Or maybe you would like kombucha, or even just, your favorite soda with a wedge of lime or lemon. Having appealing choices makes it easier. Another tip that seems to work well for people is having a bit of a game plan before you go out. Just thinking, okay, how many alcoholic drinks do I realistically want to have to still feel good? And roughly when might I want to switch over to non-alcoholic option? It just makes it easier to follow through when you're actually there. And definitely don't underestimate the power of incorporating some totally alcohol-free days into your regular week. Seriously, even just starting with 2 or 3 days off can make a really noticeable difference pretty quickly. You might notice better mood, definitely better sleep quality, maybe just more consistent energy levels. And finally, this is important. Really try to notice how you feel when you drink less. Pay attention to the positives, that extra energy in the morning, less brain fog during the day, feeling sharper. Acknowledging those benefits is actually really good positive reinforcement. It helps keep you motivated. Oh, and one more thing worth keeping in mind, especially when you're adjusting your habits. Alcohol can actually deplete certain key nutrients in your body. Nutrients that help with stress, sleep, clarity. Magnesium's a pretty relevant one here. Drinking can increase how much magnesium your body gets rid of. And being all in magnesium is sometimes linked to things like feeling kind of restless, maybe more anxious, definitely trouble sleeping well. Magnesium's important, helps regulate your nervous system, helps your muscles relax, which is great for sleep. You can boost your magnesium naturally through food, of course. Think leafy greens, nuts, seeds, whole grains, all that good stuff. And some people find that taking a gentle magnesium supplement, maybe before bed, especially in those alcohol-free nights, can really help with relaxation and recovery. So look, at the end of the day, zebra striping isn't really about achieving perfect sobriety unless that's your goal. It's more about finding a sustainable, realistic approach, a way to feel better, maybe regain a bit of control over your drinking habits. So whether you decide to try just alternating drinks next time you're out with friends, or maybe you start by adding a couple of intentional alcohol-free days into your weekly routine, you're taking positive steps towards, feeling a bit sharper, sleeping more soundly, being more present. It really just comes down to a bit of experimentation, finding what kind of balance feels right for you. And then noticing the positive ripple effects that even small intentional shifts can have on your overall well-being. Maybe just think about it. How could weaving a bit of this striping approach into your own life potentially benefit you? What might you notice? Something to consider. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor. Leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.